if people were to ask me like, where's the entry point? Where do I go in with the Beatles? Like, as regards albums go, and I wasn't to say, oh, just go from the start, I would always say Revolver. It's always been an album that's just kind of been stunning from beginning to end. Now, I will point out, and I know we mentioned Yellow Submarine. It's not. I've never heard, and I was taken down a peg or two by someone recently. I've never heard an album with a perfect track list. That there was always a song on it that I'd take out or I wouldn't. And Yellow Submarine's there. I'm not saying it's a terrible song, obviously. I'm just saying by comparison with the other songs, it's just, it doesn't hold up. But with regards to the album, it's just sonically, they were still touring at that point as well. Like, that's another thing. They were working with a limited, track amount of tracks they could use. It just from Harrison's kind of real first time when he produced 3 songs to them, and they were good, really, really good songs, and it was kind of almost right up there with Lennon McCartney. For me, I always say Revolver. How about yourselves? Paul, I'll go to you first.
Well, Revolver's always a good call because Revolver's got the rock sound in there built on the pop bass.
Yeah.
And so it's a very enjoyable album from that perspective. Plus, it has that amazing edge of the weird creativity creeping in to the point where you've got some really dark and weird stuff going on as well. But there's all 2.5-minute songs or whatever it is. So yeah, Revolver's a good one. It's I don't know. Oh, it's so difficult. It's such difficult.
These questions, it's when I'm writing the questions, it's much easier for me because I have loads of time. I wrote these last week, so I have loads of time to think of the answers. So it's very unfair to ask these questions, but I will continue to do so until I see sweat dripping down the forehead there. Yeah. How about you, Gary? Have you got one off the top of your head?
I would perhaps just go in with Sgt. Pepper because I think it's actually a really accessible album. I think what part of its kind of a beauty is that it's not high concept. Actually, it's just really well produced and has a bit of a through line. If anything, it's got a bookend with the reprise and stuff. And the way that Billy, I was going to call it Billy Shears, and Help from My Friends comes out of Sgt. Pepper's, has a feel like it's going to be that kind of thing where it goes one song to, but it doesn't actually. In the end, it's just a great collection of songs with quite down to earth lyrics for a lot of it, but you've also got like some of your mad psychedelic stuff, so you can really get a flavor of everything. But then also, see, I'm already unraveling myself because I'm also thinking the White Album, because just the sheer volume that you're going to hear everything from Birthday and like just rocking on Helter Skelter to Cry Baby Cry and Piggies and everything in between. It's got like, it's just them absolutely outpouring everything that they could do, but not necessarily in the most accessible way. So maybe Sgt. Pepper's. I've gone back again. Sgt. Pepper's.
It's odd, isn't it? Because if you know who you're talking to, there's usually something you can say, isn't there? It's like, you would like this. So one thing, I've got a real soft spot for Rubber Soul because it's so folky. And I mentioned as growing up, our parents are musicians and they were folk musicians. They love folk music and folk rock as well, like that. And so I've got a real soft spot for Rubber Soul, showing the folksy side of the Beatles, because for me, the Beatles are a pop rock band with folk sensibilities, not blues sensibilities. That was the Stones. The Stones had blues all sewn up. The Beatles, when they try and do blues, don't get it right very often. If you listen to the 12-bar instrumental that turns up on the anthology, that's not their forte. There's a reason they didn't release that. They're not a blues jam band. They can be bluesy. I like their folksy stuff. So you can say to someone, "Oh, you like folk music? Well, why don't you try Rubber Soul as your way in?" And if you like rocking guitars, then you'll want something. Well, maybe even something like the Yellow Submarine soundtrack. It's got that sort of thing.
Yeah. That's an interesting one, Rubber Soul. That's probably a really good entry point for people to see how strong the songwriting is around a kind of acoustic setting, and that kind of dope smoking lyrics that they were writing at the time is kind of, that's actually a really good one, Rubber Soul. But it's the saying that, like, another one, like you might, like you say, it depends on the person. You might throw Abbey Road in there, but then the last 9 tracks, people are going, what's going on with the end of Abbey Road? So it's a weird one. There's